Hey, White Oak family, it's Pastor John here, and I just want to provide you with a quick Monday morning theology where we take whatever happened on Sunday and we give you some practical tips for applying it in your normal everyday week. And so, like I said, maybe you're watching this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, whenever it is. What I wanted to provide you with was really 5 steps to really nurture personal prayer. And these are not just 5, steps that mean nothing to me. These are actually 5 things that have been super impactful in my life, and they have really helped me personally to nurture a personal prayer life. Like I said, I grew up not the praying type of person. I struggled with prayer like many people do. And what we want to just help people see is that everyone can be a person of powerful personal prayer. It's not just for certain kinds of people, it's for everybody, no matter what your job is, no matter who you are or what you look like. Prayer is something that you can do and something that God desires for you to do. And so the 5 things that we talked about on Sunday, first I want to kind of let you know about Luke 11, 1 through 4, and then Matthew chapter 6. There's 2 accounts where Jesus teaches his disciples how to pray. So obviously we always start with Jesus. And so I'd recommend you go there and read those scriptures, kind of pray through those scriptures, ask God to make those scriptures kind of real in your heart. And then once you do that, I want to provide for you 5 really practical, simple tips. The first one, when it comes to personal prayer and nurturing that in your life, is believe the gospel. We always start with the gospel. Jesus is amazing. He does all the work. He works for us and through us and in us. He has brought us salvation. He has lived the perfect life we couldn't live. He died the death that we should have died, and we believe in him. We believe that we are forgiven in him and made new in him simply just through having faith in God's sacrifice of him. And so believe the gospel when it comes to prayer, in the sense that realize that God will love you even if you don't pray. God's love for us is not based upon our works, but his goodness, his grace, and his love. And so when you begin with prayer and you realize that God's going to love me even if I don't pray, it just seems to make prayer a natural thing. We begin to do it because we love God and not because we're following some kind of ritual. God will love you even if you don't pray. So start with that reality and let that stir your affection and your heart and your love for God, and then respond in prayer through that. Number 2 is set a time and place. A couple weeks back, James walked us through how a disciple is devoted to the Bible, and one of his recommendations was set a time and place to read the Bible. And so if you did that, then prayer is the same thing, right? So set a time and a place to meet with God in prayer. Set a time and a place so that when, the problem is we get so busy in our lives, we have so many things to do, and if you're like me, your to-do list is like a mountain. And so just realize I've got 8 hours or so a day to do all these things, right? But I'm going to give 10 minutes or 20 or 30 or 45 minutes to prayer. And so when you set a time and place, it helps you focus because I'm here to pray, and I have a lot of stuff I have to do, but I've set aside time and I've scheduled time to do all those things. And so set a time and a place. Number 3, read the Bible. Once again, it's not rocket science. The Bible and prayer are not 2 disciplines, but they are one conversation. And so the more you read the Bible, the more that you will be inclined to pray. And the more that you read the Bible, the more you realize that kind of God begins to set the tone for prayer. And so oftentimes, if we don't know what to pray, by reading the Bible, we easily learn what to pray. And so the Bible and prayer go hand in hand. And so once you have believed the gospel, once you have created a time and a place, open your Bible, just read, and as you read, you will feel your heart being waded into the ocean of God's presence. Sometimes it's hard to transition into prayer because we're so busy, and reading the Bible focuses you, it calms you, and it really draws you into the heart of God in a way that really works well when we respond to God in prayer. And so the 4th thing that I think is really important is to create a prayer list, right? You don't have to follow this word by word, but create things that you're praying about. And so for me, I always have worship. I have thanks. I thank God for everything. I confess my sins. I pray for faith. I pray for my family, and I pray for my church. And then below that, those are things that I always have every week. But then under that, I've got specific things that are really particular to that month. And so have a prayer list. Like I said, if prayer is flowing and it's wonderful and you don't need it, that's great. But if you're like me, you get distracted, it's hard to focus. A prayer list keeps you focused to make sure that you're really leaning into the right things when it comes to prayer. And as always, we recommend you go to Luke 11, verse 1 through 4, where Jesus gives a very simple and quick approach to prayer. Jesus basically gives his disciples a prayer list, essentially. And so we recommend you read that as well. And the 5th and final thing, and once again, most people don't get to this point, but this is super impactful, is to have a prayer partner. You can call it whatever cool Trinity name you want to call it: accountability partner, prayer partner, prayer buddy, whatever you want to call them, but just somebody who you're talking with every single week, and you're saying like, look, hey, this is how I'm doing in prayer. This is what I'm reading in the Bible. And on the weeks when you're struggling and you're not focused, you can confess it to somebody and they can encourage you and love you and help you. And on the weeks when it's going well, they can celebrate with you. So they can rejoice in that with you. And so I have someone who I meet with almost every week. Sometimes we miss. And our conversation always begins with, how's your walk with the Lord? How's your time in the Bible? And are you praying? And I've just found that when I have someone that I'm talking with about these things, it really nurtures my personal prayer life. And so once again, 5 things as we seek to apply Sunday to our week this week is to, number 1, believe the gospel in terms of prayer, that God will love you even if you don't pray. Number 2, set a time and a place so you can focus and make sure that it happens. Number 3, read the Bible, hear God's voice to you, let the Bible set the tone. Number 4, create a prayer list with kind of the basic things of prayer and then any specific thing going on in your heart or in your world. Once again, that'll help you to keep you focused and keep you in the right frame of mind. And then the 5th one is seek out someone who you connect really well with, someone that you have a natural relationship with who's a fellow believer, and just ask them, let's just get together every week or every other week and let's just tell each other how our walk with the Lord is going. Once again, we're doing personal prayer, but even that we're called to do it in community. I love you guys. I hope you have a great week. Please, like I said, just realize that prayer is something that everybody can do. In my mind, it's like the lottery of the Christian faith. It's a lot of work, but there's a lot of reward. And so I just want to encourage you to pray this week and to really kind of lean into that and lean into the Bible. So I love you all. If you need anything, as always, let me know. But you guys have a great week.